Why don't you frame, you've been in the restaurant industry a while, talk about everything that you've got on your culinary journey to lead you to this point.
So it all started back in 1980 when I started as a dishwasher at UNC Greensboro's cafeteria. It's a wonderful experience.
Wow,
Moved
I might have
from
seen you
there.
during the summer. I lived in Greensboro. I grew up, went to camps there. So who knows?
I love you in North Carolina and Greensboro. And then I moved, there was a little restaurant on campus. I became a dishwasher there. It was a big promotion from a cafeteria onto a busser, waiter, then managed the dining room, and then was able to start working off campus. And eventually ended up at a great restaurant called Southern Lights in Greensboro, North Carolina, which I feel like in the early 80s was way ahead of its time.
Okay.
And it was there that I really sort of fell in love with food and wine because I worked under a great general manager, Ann Steckedy, who taught me a lot about wine, and also worked in the kitchen with John Dries, the other owner, and Chef Beth Kieshneman. Those three people kind of framed the future for me in the restaurant business. And I was in Greensboro until 93, worked at Southern Lights, and then moved to Athens, Georgia, where I became co-owner general manager of the very famous Last Resort Grill.
Wonderful.
And I was there from 93 until really the end of December of the 20 when I moved to Atlanta. Resort was changing ownership somewhat, and I moved on and was looking for a chef, and it just happened that I talked to this beautiful young lady that I worked with in Athens who was in Australia, who had met this great Italian guy, and they were going to move here because her mother lived in Roswell, and they were going to either move here or go to Italy. So they stayed here. We talked
Almost
right
the same
before.
place.
Yes.
Atlanta and Italy. That's like, wow. That's an easy decision.
Roswell, Italy.
Yeah, so we talked, about opening a restaurant. The pandemic happened, and a couple of years into it, I was like, okay, at some point this will end. So I recontacted Megan, who was now married to Giuseppe, and Megan and I worked at Last Resort, and we sat down, and the partnership started in opening Kitty Dare, which opened in November of 21, the day after Thanksgiving, kind of tail end of the pandemic.
Yeah.
And